Hey everyone, welcome to our Let's Play on Astroneer. So overall, Astroneer is a sandbox adventure style game played in third person. It is currently in its alpha stage and will soon have a full version releasing at the end of this year. The game can be played with 1 to 4 people and is much faster and engaging when playing in a group. In the game, you land on an astronaut on a colorful new foreign planet, where you are to set up a camp and start exploring the terrain around you for resources. You start by unpacking your materials from these boxes and setting up a base camp. This is when players start to notice a line connecting them to your main base. This is your oxygen line, and you can die if your backpack gauge empties. This line is the only source of energy your player needs, considering it supplies oxygen. Next, you go out to gather resources and explore the terrain. This is our tool. This tool is our terrain gun, which allows players to suck up or spit out the ground as if it were a Play-Doh substance. This allows players to mine deep in all directions, from materials to fully consume everything that land has to offer. When characters need oxygen and have been too far away from their base or tethers, the screen will start going red and you could potentially drop all of your materials. The weather and time of day is constantly changing, and there are even storms. These are the only 2 ways to die in the game. Here our player gains enough to make tethers and start expanding into the world.
So one thing we noticed about Astroneer is the way that our current view of the environment translated into the game world. Here you can see me gathering a resource called resin. Each time I collect the nodes here, the ground around the resources is deformed or destroyed. So you can, after a while, you can start to see a marked environment where we have excavated all of the available resources. The resources in this game are finite, so once we've dug out all of the resource of this particular planet, we will have to move on and do the same to another planet.
A game similar to Astroneer, which you also destroy the environment in. Astroneer, basically you come into a brand new planet, a virgin planet, and you start just sucking up all the resources you can see in order to advance your own tech. A game similar like here is Minecraft, where when you first spawn in, you start with your bare hands. You're not on a rocket ship like in Astroneer. And you walk up to the first tree you see and you start punching the tree and destroying it in order to get wood blocks, which then allow you to create planks and sticks, which basically gives you wooden tools, as you see here, like the wooden pickaxe. Something that Astroneer does not have is pigs and living animals. They do have plants. You destroy the plants to gain carbon and biomass, and sometimes you can find research within the plants, but they do not have living animals like in Minecraft. So the similarities between Minecraft and Astroneer are pretty close, though, where you basically spawn in on a brand new planet that's untouched and you just get to work destroying it and looking for resources. While Minecraft doesn't have technology that you have to unlock like Astroneer, you do have to find rarer resources in order to build stronger tools. You start with wooden tools and go to stone, iron, and then eventually you have to find diamond. But in order to find diamond, you have to dig fairly deep into the planet, and that's similar to Astroneer's in ways where Astroneer, in order to find rare resources, you have to get to different, harsher planets.
So another kind of destructive view which found its way into Astroneer is the treatment and ultimate use of other living organisms. So here there's a whole bunch of plants on the ground, and I have to gather that plant matter, which is described in the game as just simply organic, and then I have to burn it in a generator for fuel. Another thing we have to do is, here we're collecting these strange plant creatures, which need to be dissected in order to be any use to us. So one of the currencies in the game, bytes, is basically mined out of these research subjects, and in the process it totally destroys the subject itself. The whole thing kind of has a feel of Manifest Destiny in space, where everything is placed solely for our use and consumption. While that makes sense in the framework that this is a video game, it still perpetuates the idea that other life forms are only valuable in their utility to us and our desires. It also speaks to those who feel that mankind just goes and takes what they want and then leaves behind nothing but a broken planet. A Canadian author and political activist by the name of Naomi Klein writes in her book, titled This Changes Everything, about the West's relationship with extractivism. Extractivism is the process of extracting natural resources from the earth to sell on the world market. Klein defines it as a non-reciprocal, dominance-based relationship with the earth that is one of purely taking. Another concept along with extractivism is the inclusion of sacrifice zones. These are the areas where industrial workings cause pollution and poisoning of the local ecosystem. While Astroneer doesn't include the waste products of its technology, we can assume that some of them do exist. As with the furnace, there is an inclusion of smoke, so there is particles going into the atmosphere. All along the planet's surface are various amounts of debris, technology left over from previous explorers. That churn, in the end, turning the entire planet into one large sacrifice zone. Now, why should we care about this? It is, after all, simply a game. However, video games can be and are currently a vehicle for learning. Schaefer, Squire, Halverson, and G argue that acting in a virtual world allows players to develop situational understanding. It is possible to highlight the absurdity of our own current system by seeing it in a manner that allows us to be a little bit more distanced from it. In this way, we can take a game that is enjoyable, playful, and somewhat quirky, and build a new way of thinking about an issue that might be one of the largest threats to how we currently live.